I'm Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on lines. We are sharing with you four important application test questions based on the concepts of slopes and gradients. I would like you to pause the video, copy these questions, solve them out, and then look into my suggestions. The four questions here are: find the value of p if point 1 minus 1, 3, 3 and minus 1p are collinear. Collinear really means that they are on the same line. So we have to show that these 3 points are on the same line. Question 2. Are the points A, B, C vertices of a right triangle? So here we need to show that probably the slope between 2 points will be negative reciprocal. So m1 times m2 equals to minus 1 means they are perpendicular, right? Question 3. Point 34 is on a circle with center at origin. Find y-intercept of the line tangent to circle at this point. So this is extremely interesting question. We have a circle here whose center is at the origin, right? So let's say, let me sketch like this. And what are we supposed to do? A tangent at 3, 4, which will be somewhere here, let's say, that's line, right? Tangent at 3, 4. We need to figure out the y-intercept of this tangent. Perfect. Question 4. The point ABC are 3 vertices of a rectangle ABCD. Okay. Find the coordinates of D. So let us say we have a rectangle, right? Let me just make a rectangle here. We are given 3 points. Let's say we are given A, B, and C. We need to find what D is. Correct? So these are 4 very important questions. Wide variety is here. And with that, you will actually review all the concepts learned about slopes. And these are very popular questions from test point of view. Now let us see how to solve them one by one. Question number 1. Find the value of p if these points are collinear. So as I was saying, collinear means they lie on the same line. So let's write down these points, and then what are we going to do? We are going to just find the slope. So one of the points is minus 1p. So let me write that first. Then we have 1 minus 1. And we have 3, 3. Let's call these points as A, B, C. Okay. It is easy to communicate with that. So if I have to say that they are collinear, that means what? That basically means that slope from A to B should be equal to slope from A to C. So if the two slopes are same from a given point, so what we are taking here is a common point plus slope. So if that is true, then we say that the points are collinear. So that results into collinear. Means on the same line. Let's call this line as L. Then they are on the same line. Perfect. So the concept, I hope, is absolutely clear. With this, we can actually find the coordinates of P. So slope of A to B will be difference of y values, which is minus 1 minus P divided by 1 minus 1. That should be equal to difference of 3 minus P divided by 3 minus 1. So these are the slopes, MAB and M from A to C. So that gives us minus 1 minus P over, that is 2, right? Here we have 3 minus P and this is 4. So we can cross multiply and simplify. So what we get here is 4 times minus 1 minus p equals to 2 times 3 minus p. You could simplify this also. So a simpler equation will be dividing by 2. We get 2 here, right? And now let's solve. So we have minus 1 minus p equals to, we have to multiply this by 2 also, I'm sorry, equals to 3 minus p. So we get minus 2 minus 2p equals to 3 minus p. Taking these to the right side, numbers on the left side, we get minus 2 minus 3 equals to minus p plus 2p, right? So I'm taking this 2p to the right side and 3 on this side. Is that clear to you? So that gives us minus 5 equals to p. So the value of p is minus 5, right? So we get our point, which should be minus 1 minus 5. Therefore, the answer is that p equals to minus 5. Perfect. So that is how we are going to solve this question. Now let's look into the second question, which is, are points A, B, C vertices of a right triangle? Okay. So let's approximately sketch and plot these points. So we have this point here, 12, 3, somewhere close, okay. 10 and minus 11, so somewhere on this side. Minus 2 and 5, so minus 2 and 5 somewhere there, right? So we kind of make a triangle like this. Okay, let me just connect them. So the points here are 12, 3. Let's call this 12, 3. That's point A. Then we have 10 minus 11, point B. And then we have C, which is minus 2, 5. So let's find the slope, and then from slope we can see, do we have a right triangle? Right. So let's calculate slope from C to A. So from C to A, slope will be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That is 3 minus 5 divided by 12 minus 2. 3 minus 5 is minus 2, and that is 14. So we get minus 1 over 7. Okay. Now let's find the slope from B to A. Slope from B to A is basically equal to 3 minus 11 divided by 12 minus 10. Now 3 plus 11 over 2, which is 14 over 2 or 7. Okay, so what do you notice here? You notice that the slope MCA times MBA is how much? Well, it is minus 1 over 7 times 7, which is minus 1. Now, since the product of slopes is negative 1, so we can say that the line CA is perpendicular to the line BA. You can say line segment also, right? Because it's a triangle. So you can say line segment to be more precise. Okay. So line segment CA is perpendicular to the line segment BA, since product of their slopes is negative 1, right? So that is the reason. So this angle here is right angle. Perfect. So that is how you could show that these are forming a right triangle. So therefore, ABC is a right triangle with angle, so this is C for us, right? So CAB equals to 90 degrees. Clear? Perfect. Okay. So now let's take question number 3. Point 34 is on a circle with center at the origin. So, okay, let's sketch the circle first. Now we'll make the axis. It's easier. Okay, and now the tangent. Okay. So you're saying there is a point here which is 3, 4. Center origin for the circle. Find y-intercept of the line tangent to the circle at this point. So we need to find this point. So y-intercept will have 0b as the coordinate of the point. Now the important thing to understand here is that if I join O with the given point at 3, 4, then what we know here is that this tangent is at right angles, right? So what we'll do here is, let's call this point as P. So we'll find slope of OP, which is 4 minus 0 over 3 minus 0, which is 4 over 3. Now, let's call this point B, which is the y-intercept. Now, slope of PB should be what? That should be negative reciprocal of slope of OP. So it should be negative 3 over 4. Since they are perpendicular, right? So since they are perpendicular, right? That makes sense? Now, what is the slope of P to B? Let's say the B point is 0B, because the y-intercept, x value will be 0. So that slope is B minus 4 divided by 0 minus 3. That should be equal to minus 3 over 4. So let's cross multiply. So that gives you 4 times B minus 4 equals to minus 3 times minus 3. So 4B minus 16 equals to plus 9. So 4B, this is B, equals to 9 plus 16, which is 25. So B should be 25 divided by 4. So therefore, the y-intercept is what? So the y-intercept is 0.25 over 4. Does it make sense to you? Perfect. So that is how we can actually find the y-intercept in this case. So important thing here is, just with the concept of slope we found the answer. There was no need to find equation of a line and go there, right? Now here is the last question, extremely important. The point A, B and C are 3 vertices of a rectangle ABCD. Find the coordinates of point D. So sketching helps, correct? So let's again make a rough sketch. Point 3,5, let's say somewhere here 3,5, okay. B is minus 5, 1, so okay, so let's say somewhere there. Minus 3 will be somewhere here, right? Okay. So we get 3 points. Let me connect these 3 points. Okay, so let these be the points, okay, now. The idea is to get the 4th point. So 4th point will be, we have to draw a line perpendicular to this, and then we have to draw a line which is perpendicular to this but parallel to the other one, right? So kind of like this, correct? So that gives you the point D, right? These should be perpendicular. That's the whole idea. Okay. Let's see how to find this. So we are given a point 3,5 A, which is 3,5. Let me write down. B is minus 5, 1. So B minus 5, 1. And C is minus 3, minus 3. We need to find this point D. How do we figure this out? Well, remember one thing, that parallel lines means same slope. Perpendicular lines then negative reciprocal, or we can say m1 times m2 is equals to minus 1. So in the first case, we are saying m1 equals to m2. Perfect. Now we are going to use this concept to get the answer. Now slope means what? Change in y. So what is slope? Change in y over change in x. So let's look into change in y and change in x. So if I'm going from here to this point, so what is the change in y? Minus 3 to 1. So it is from 1 to minus of minus 3. So delta y is 4. So basically I have to add 4 to my y value. So I get 5 plus 4, which is 9, correct? So I get delta y as 4. Now change in x is, when I go this side, then it is minus 5 and minus of minus 3, which is minus 2, right? So that is the change. So in the x value, I have to do minus 2. So if I do 3 minus 2, I get to this point, which will be at 1, correct? So my point here is 1, and then when I add it 4 to 5, I get 9. So my point should be 1, 9. Do you get the idea? So what we are doing here is we are considering A and then adding the same change in y over change in x type of thing. Do you understand this concept? So what A point here is 3, 5. So A is 3, 5. This is point A, correct? Now to get to D, what am I doing? I'm actually adding 4 to the y value and I'm adding minus 2 to the x value. Does make sense to you? So once I do that, minus 2 of 3 is 1, adding 4 to 5 is 9, I get my point. Do you see how simple this is? Now you could verify using the slopes for two adjacent lines and see that they are negative reciprocal indeed. Perfect. So our answer here is that point D is basically 1, 9. Now for you, so that is your exercise. Question is verify the result. Is it clear to you? Is it the right result? So simple to get, right? So in a multiple choice question, the techniques which you've learned, the strategies which you've learned in these 4 examples can really help you and make huge difference. So I hope you are enjoying my series. Feel free to share it with your friends, subscribe to my videos, and write comments. Thank you and all the best.